Hi, welcome to Mellow Movie Reviews.
What are we watching this week, Bri?
We watched all three Thor movies.
I watched two and a quarter.
I felt like I was watching a Thor series on
Oh my
HBO.
God, I was too. That was literally one of the points I wanted to bring up. I've never actually watched the Marvel movies by character in a series, like not even Iron Man. Like I've never just sat down and watched all the Iron Man movies straight in a row. This was a wild ride. Everything made so much more sense because there weren't like 15 movies in between each movie.
Yes, I actually really enjoyed
I did
that.
well.
It was just an enjoyable watch because I don't know, I got really comfortable with Asgard as a place. Like I knew where stuff was.
I don't know if I got that comfortable with it.
Okay. But it was very enjoyable just to watch all three. Especially I watched Dark World and Ragnarok both together yesterday.
I literally, when you called, I had just finished Dark World and I was like 20 minutes into Ragnarok.
And I think
It's such
World,
a nice transition.
yes, I think we will talk about it. We will talk about each movie. But
I feel like maybe we should use this time that we're doing right now to make comments like we are about like the three movies as a whole.
okay. I think that the first two movies are very similar.
I agree with that.
And the third movie,
Best one.
it is the best one. You were right.
How dare you walk into my home and say that the first Thor movie is the best Thor movie?
I just think collectively, like, I never had a bad time. I was never, like, upset or, like, come on. I think in Dark World, I think the first hour of Dark World is bad.
It's trash. Most of that movie is trash.
But then the rest is amazing. I don't know. I liked watching them as a whole. All three movies together are a lot stronger than separately.
I agree. And it made me want to go and watch like all the Iron Man ones or all the Captain America ones because I feel like the stories and the arcs for the characters make more sense. I think the only thing I would change about doing this is I would have added other movies that he was in. Like I felt myself wanting to have watched Avengers in between the first Thor movie and the second one, especially because of Loki's arc in the second movie.
So I was watching Thor Dark World,
okay,
and I was taking notes, and I wrote, wait, is this after he gets arrested in New York? And then I like paused the movie and looked, and I was like, oh yeah, it is. It made me want to watch Avengers, and then Thor Ragnarok made me want to watch Infinity Wars.
Well, because right after Ragnarok, that's why they're in the ship, because they escape when, massive spoilers, obviously, that when Hela and Surtur destroy Asgard, that's the ship they're on. They're evacuating.
Yes. And that is that the ship that Thanos?
Yeah.
Doesn't Thanos kill everyone?
A lot of them.
Can we just start off with, I have two news items that really are just nothing. I just thought they'd be funny to share.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so there are new Transformers movies coming out. How do you feel, Katie?
I can't believe, like, of all the franchises, why has everything got to be a franchise or a reboot? Like, let's see some original content, folks.
I have a really tough relationship with Transformers because I really, really loved the first one. And then I saw the second one at a midnight showing, and I wore a freaking, like, Transformers shirt. And it was an awful time. And then, remember when we saw the third one when we couldn't get into Chandler's play?
I don't remember that, but that sounds pretty on brand for us. No, you can't be here right now. You need to go there. There you go, Booby.
Cat?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was right. We went to Deerfield, and then we were like, oh no, we don't have a play to see tonight. How about we just go see the third Transformers movie?
You imagine that conversation. Oh no, we don't have a play to see tonight. Whoa.
What?
Hold on.
What's going on?
There's gonna be 2 new Transformers movies.
In the same year?
Probably not.
Okay.
Oh, they don't even know what kind of story it's gonna be. But apparently it's gonna be a build-out of the Transformers universe, serving up multiple storylines. I'm quoting an article, obviously, from Sci-Fi.
What article is it?
No disguise. 2 new Transformers movies are on the way by Benjamin Bullard on sci-fi.com. So, citation, not plagiarizing.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm not excited. I think it's done.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
This franchise has been over for a long time.
I have a second piece of news. It doesn't even have to do with movies, but I think it's very important.
What up?
My Chemical Romance.
Oh my god, I know! Can you believe?
I am so excited.
So we're obviously going to see them in concert.
Okay.
So, and we have to go together, and we have to do it right. Like, we have to do the, like, old emo shit.
Let's talk about Thor.
The first one, which I do believe is just called Thor.
Yeah, it is literally called Thor. Okay, can I tell you why I thought this movie was the best movie? Thor movie?
And then I will explain why you're wrong.
Okay. I just remember that infamous scene at the diner.
Bring me another!
Yes, and him saying, I meant no disrespect. Like, that whole dialogue, I was cracking up. I thought that was the funniest scene of any movie I've seen in such a long time.
Oh my god. Were you with us when we went to go see this in theaters?
No, I watched the first 2 Thor movies at my house, like, alone.
Oh my god. So you know that part where they're sitting on top of Jane's lab and Darcy's like, they took everything. They even took my iPod. Chandler fucking lost it. She like could not stop laughing for a solid 10 minutes. And like literally every time we said that, it was just like a thing. It was hilarious.
Chandler is our friend. She has been mentioned twice in this podcast.
When did we say her before?
When we went to see Chandler's play.
Oh my god, twice in this podcast. Shout out to Chan.
Yeah, I don't know. This film, it has a lot of good, but it also has a lot of bad.
Okay, I'm going to let you start because I'm going to do a rant if I start.
Okay, I'm just going to start with my complaints.
Okay, hit me. That's a great place to start.
Okay, so the beginning of this film is the scientist hitting Thor with the truck. And then we have a fight scene.
You go.
And then we have a fight scene without Thor in it, and it's just Odin talking. And then we see, like, Loki and Thor as younglings, as Odin's telling the story about the frost giants.
Mm-hmm.
And then we meet Thor.
Mm-hmm.
That is, like, the very clunky beginning.
There's absolutely no reason why they had to start there.
Yes, I totally agree.
The fact that they begin the story en medias res is stupid.
When they, like, flash back forward?
No, it's when you start the story in the middle.
The Thor, that fight scene, I don't know, when they go, okay, so that whole beginning is bad. And then Thor is mad because he's like, the frost giants, they want to fight them. And he flips the table like Teresa.
Oh my God, I
Housewives.
literally wrote down Thor's Real Housewives moment when I was taking notes.
That's
He
great.
is Teresa Gaducci or whatever the fuck her name is.
Yes. So Teresa, I love that we both wrote that.
Us of all people, of course we wrote that.
And that whole scene with the frost giants,
Pointless.
Okay, also so slow. Like
So slow.
not the exposition. What is it? The shot. Like it just shows where the frost giants live for like 10 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah.
And nothing else happens.
I have several explanations for why these choices were made.
Why?
Okay. This is my first and biggest complaint with this movie.
Okay.
So Kenneth Branagh directed this. I'm like 95% sure. I'm going to Google it real fast before I start trash talking him. Oh my God, this movie came out the year we graduated high school.
Aww.
Yep. Yes. Okay. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh. So, for those of you who don't know who that is, it's Lockhart from Harry Potter. He's a big stage actor, and he's like deep into Shakespeare, which I 100% respect. And like, he's so good at that. But this is a Marvel movie. And it felt like he was given a script for a Marvel movie and then decided to direct it like it was a Shakespeare play. It's so awkward. And he's using a lot of the same devices, like starting at the weird point and then jumping back in time and jumping back in time again. And like all those beautiful like animated storytelling is like a very like nod to Shakespeare, and like it like the drama is so heightened and it takes itself so seriously as a movie, but at the same time it's trying so hard not to take itself seriously as a movie. I feel like Jane is the perfect character example of this because they want her to be like a fun, funny Marvel girl, but she's not.
I wrote like her and Thor, no chemistry.
No chemistry. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't like Natalie Portman as an actress. She's just so bland to me.
Okay.
But like, I did start to see more chemistry between them in Dark World, and I felt like I believed their relationship a little bit more. But
I agree.
Thor, I was like, there's no way this bitch is in love with this guy. Like, there's nothing.
Or Or she fell in love a little too fast.
That as well. I feel like they interacted for maybe 48 hours and she was like, oh my God, this is Marriage Man.
Well, she immediately meets him and is like smitten, but at the same time, if I met Chris Hemsworth as Thor, I would be smitten as well. So
listen, if Chris Hemsworth came up to me in a Thor costume, I would just let him do whatever he wanted to me.
Okay.
I really like Chris Hemsworth.
I like him too. I follow him on Twitter. You do too, right?
I actually don't think I do. I follow him on Instagram though.
Well, on Twitter, he always posts these like workout routines, and I'm not mad at them.
I will not be following him on Twitter.
The thing is, like, I'm not mad at him, even though I don't like to work out. I'm just like, you go, Chris Hemsworth. You flip your tire.
No, word. Like, that's his deal. He's a ripped dude. If he wants to show off being a ripped dude, show off being a ripped dude. If I had a body like that, I'd be naked in every picture I ever took.
And also, he just seems very humble while he's doing it.
Oh my God. His Instagram is literally like pictures of his wife and him being like, look how beautiful she is. And then him with his children being like, what a fun dad I am. Like I know Instagram is kind of like the best part of our lives, but he just seems like a very genuine person. I feel like if I met him in person, he would be like a good celebrity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, can we talk about Anthony Hopkins as the choice for Odin for a second? What an amazing piece of casting.
Okay, Odin is great because he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, and that's the point.
I really that was actually, I think, in one of my notes of what I actually liked. I said, Odin has faults. He is an asshole.
And I like that they started that out in the first movie. Because then, by the third movie, when they reveal just how big an asshole he was, it's believable. Because they've already established that in his character.
And also, when he dies, like, you can tell he's getting weak. When he dies, you can tell that he's getting weak in the first movie.
That is one of the things I wrote down, is that they aged up Odin and they showed that he was getting weaker as he was getting older.
It was smart. I have more complaints.
Hold up. Let me look at my notes. You go.
I thought the beginning of this film should have started with Thor being foolish. Like, you know what I mean?
I literally just looked at my notes. And the second you said that, I saw the note, the build-up to Thor finding out he's not worthy took way, with at least 15 Ys, too long.
Yes. Katie, we are one in the same!
Listen, the exposition and rising action of this movie are the slowest 65 minutes of my life.
Also, the villain, like, literally go away. So stupid.
Actually, I have a lot of thoughts about the villain.
I think the idea of Thor having his pals is fun, but
pointless.
Sorry?
They're pointless. They're a distraction.
Yes, and I'm upset because I like them.
Here's the thing. I don't really give a shit about the guys, but Sif, dude, she's such a badass. She was the only one that I was like, they should find a way to keep including her.
When his friends come back to Earth, or they come to Earth to save Thor, it was supposed to be like, my friends, and we were supposed to be like, yay, his friends. I didn't feel anything because we didn't spend any time with them.
Exactly. I feel like they tried to set up too much in the first movie. And to be fair, because they did that, the second movie was really good because they didn't have to do any establishing and they could focus on the plot. But like, because they tried to take on so much with like establishing all these different characters, it just was a little rough. Also,
I felt like even though this movie is an hour and 52 minutes long, it seemed like a 3-hour movie.
I was about to say there's no way it's that short. Oh my god. It's only an hour and 55 minutes.
It's short.
It's not even 2 hours.
No, and that's like including credits.
Dark World is 3 minutes shorter, and it feels like such a better movie.
Yes, I agree.
You have made me reassess my views on Dark World. I didn't hate it as much this time.
I think I didn't. Well, okay. Before we talk about Dark World, can we discuss what actually works in the first Thor movie?
Very few things, but yes.
Loki!
I didn't like him when I watched it the first time, and it's because they set him up as a villain in this, but they did a really good job of setting him up as a gray villain. Loki is one of the really, really well done gray characters that I've seen in like storytelling, like modern wise.
Yes.
Like he does not walk the line between good and evil. He like fucking tangos that line and has no problem with it.
He tangles in every single movie. And I thought that I just liked Loki as a whole. I liked that he is part frost giant.
I do too.
That reveal was pretty cool. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, like.
Yeah, I forgot that happened in the first movie. For some reason, I was like, this doesn't happen until after Avengers. They find that out in the second movie.
And it was cool how he found out when the frost giant like touches his wrist.
Yeah, yeah.
And sees like the markings. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. And I thought what was strong was Odin not being the best father.
Can I just say one more thing I didn't like?
Yes.
I'm a costume person.
Yes.
I fucking hated how Thor and Loki's hair looked in that movie. It was such an uncomfortable length. Chris Hemsworth looked like he was like, I don't even know. He did not look like himself in that movie.
Katie, in my notes for Thor Dark World, I wrote, I'm so glad he has a half bun, half hair down look.
Yes. They figured out his look in Avengers, and then he started to look good.
Yes.
I don't know who the fuck decided to put that Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire haircut on both of their leads, but like, bro, it's so bad.
It looked bad, and also it looked like really bleach, like a bleach blonde.
I also think they bleached his beard, because even though it was stubble, it was so blonde. And I feel like they did his eyebrows too, because literally just looking at his face, I'm like, something's missing here.
I agree. I think it was too bleached.
And I think for Loki, the length was too awkward as well, and it was way too greasy. And like, I get that's part of his character. He's supposed to be kind of slick, but like, dude, the hair gel budget for that movie must have been insane. The amount they must have been putting in his hair. Again, his character gets figured out in Avengers and then starts to look really good.
So I hated like the the frost giants. Dark elves is
I literally, while I was looking at that, I was like, these kind of look like White Walkers. I wonder which came first, the Frost Giants or the White Walkers. They look like off-brand White Walkers.
Yes, I wrote Game of Thrones guys doing stuff. I can't believe it's kind of. I also liked that Loki killed his dad.
Did he? Oh, yeah.
Other things I thought were cool. Hawkeye cameo.
I know. I totally forgot about that. He showed up. Okay, one of the things I really enjoyed watching this movie, I haven't watched any of the Phase 1 Marvel movies in so long. So, like, watching one of the OG Marvel movies was wild because I forgot all the stuff hasn't happened yet, and there's some cute little Easter eggs, like we see the Tesseract for the first time.
Yes!
And, like, I think... Oh, no, that's in Ragnarok. Never mind. But, like, it was so, like... It felt like I was stepping into my childhood, and then I remembered that these movies have been coming out since I was a kid.
Yes.
Like, this is, what, year 10 of Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this has got to be longer than that, because that would have meant I would have been 17.
2011 was technically 9 years ago.
No, but Iron Man came out before that. What was Iron Man, like 2008?
Oh, yeah. We were young.
We were, like...
15, 16.
15, I want to say.
Yeah.
So that means Marvel must have been around for like 12-ish years.
So, yeah, I got excited to see Hawkeye. I was like, that's S.H.I.E.L.D. That's S.H.I.E.L.D. And that was fun for me. And I also love the scene. I know that Thor and Jane don't have much chemistry, but I really liked when Thor was explaining the 9 realms to Jane. With the picture of the tree. I thought that was very sweet and a wholesome moment for Thor's character, per se.
I thought the moment they had together is this maybe the same moment where they're out on the like lounge chairs outside of her trailer truck, and I don't even know what they're talking about, but it's just like a very sweet and casual moment.
Yes,
There's a few of those. They do make it work. They just don't make it work enough for it to be believable.
Yes. Also, the whole fight scene at the end with like the faceless like thing that Loki sends.
The Destroyer.
Yeah, go like totally lame, but I love that Thor gets his hammer back. Mew mew.
Mew mew. That was one of the things I wrote down as one of my favorite quotes. My other favorite quote from the movie. If you can't tell already, I really dislike this movie's version of Jane Foster. I wrote down, you know, when she goes to S.H.I.E.L.D. to like where the hammer is, she's like on the phone and she's like, "Hi, Eric, we did exactly what you didn't want us to do."
Oh, I know, I must have been doing something.
She's like hiding under a bush.
My favorite quote is, "You think me strange."
Oh my god.
And when he was obviously the coffee scene, another, and when he goes, "I meant no disrespect." I just, all those lines were delivered well. So it got the humor for me was like good. Like the fish out of water story part.
I did enjoy that. I thought that was fun.
So yeah, and it made us want to. I like Thor after this movie, and I was excited to see him in the Avengers.
I didn't love this movie for Thor. But I think it's a solid Marvel movie. Like, I don't think it's a bad one. There are certainly worse Marvel movies.
So, should we move on to Thor Dark World?
Yeah, let's do it. Dark World.
I'm switching during my lunch break today, I just, like, wrote a ton of notes, because I wrote everything.
I meant to watch this while I was grading today, but then I had, like, 15 fucking meetings. Anyway.
This one, I thought was a lot better than the first Thor.
I agree.
A lot more fun, but I have complaints. Do you want to start with complaints, or should I do it?
Let me scroll on down. Yeah, and here we go. I fucking hate the elves and the ship. I think the design is awful. I don't understand, for the life of me, why they made dark elves literally the color white. Like, they are dark elves. So I play God of War. And if you're not a video game person, just sit tight for a second. And in God of War, they have, it's the Norse mythology one, and they have a part where you fight dark elves and light elves. And you know how you tell the difference? The light elves are light colored and the dark elves are dark colored. And I feel like that didn't make any sense to me. Also, big problem with that. They look so alien. Like it's like they designed an alien and then they stuck elf ears on it and was like, yeah, that's an elf. That's fine. Like you go on the spaceship and it's an actual spaceship. I feel like they spent so much time in the first movie and the beginning of the second movie establishing that Asgard, because it is from Norse mythology, looks vaguely Norse and is like taking things from Viking stuff and making it look, which I like, I enjoy, I think that's great. But then every time they introduce a villain, it's like some crazy space monster. And these things are supposed to be a part of the same mythology. So I don't understand why we have these Norse sci-fi elves coming to fight. Like, why aren't they actual elves? The frost giants, at least, like, they were still within the realm of being Norse, even though they were giants. Like, there wasn't anything there that screamed, hey, this isn't real. But with this, I was like, ugh. Also, the ship really bothered me. I really hate when people design spaceships that are just really fucking tall. It doesn't make any sense to me. The aerodynamics, bullshit. Let me see if there's anything else.
I wrote dark. I personally thought the Dark Elves and Frost Giants, they were so similar to me that I just
Mhm.
similar threat. Jane going on a date with a guy from Bridesmaids, that scene was so clunky. I like Darcy,
I love
but
Darcy. She's one of my favorite. Her and Eric are actually my favorite characters.
so I hated them. I thought I really didn't like them in this movie at all. I
And
just thought they were just there. And something that really, really got me, like, in a filmmaking perspective is
mhm,
that I think the third scene in the movie, they show Eric at Stonehenge being arrested. And
mhm.
then they show the same scene again with Darcy and Eric reacting to Eric at Stonehenge being arrested. I
Mm.
wish they would have showed that when Darcy and Eric were watching it. Why did they show it at the beginning?
It's I don't know.
I thought that was a weird thing to do.
To
Also,
speak to that real fast, another thing I feel like Marvel does really well is it like takes trauma that's happened in previous movies and actually has it affect the characters. Like Tony definitely has PTSD from what happened in New York. And I like that in the second movie they addressed what happened with Eric with having Loki in his brain for the entirety of Avengers.
I
And
agree
I
with
liked
that, but
continuity.
I like the scenes with Eric. I just didn't need the Stonehenge scene
No,
twice.
I agree. That was stupid. I also felt like they maybe took him a little too on the crazy side, but also like we don't know what it's like to have a god in our brain. Uh,
I wrote that down as one of my favorite quotes. Like
I
you
also wrote that down as one of my favorite quotes.
So yeah, I enjoyed Eric as a character. Like I really wish I was like, oh, I wish I would watched Avengers before this, but I don't have time.
Yeah,
But
that's what
I
I'm
for
saying. Like Marvel does such a good job of weaving the stories together between movies for the most part that like you have to watch the other ones in between.
yeah, I'm glad I remembered Loki effed up New York though.
Yeah, yeah. Hard to
Um,
forget, as that is the point.
so another thing I think the CGI looked very didn't look that good. It reminded me of a Star Quarrels, a Star Wars prequel.
Ooh, that's shade. Oh my
It
god.
gave me when they went to Asgard and Jane and Thor are there because he takes Jane because she has the red Infinity Stone embedded in her or whatever, and they like
Which
kiss. It
stone?
reminded me of when she and Hayden Christensen were like kissing at on Naboo. Like
Annie, like you did on Naboo.
so I just kept drawing comparisons. I was like, this looks like a freaking and when the Dark Elves invaded in their ships, I was like, this
Oh my
looks
god,
like
that visible ship CGI was tragic.
it looked like Star Wars prequels. Like it
That I'll give that one to you. That was shitty.
um and you know I really I have to stress the first 54 minutes of this film are
You have-
so slow.
Oh
It
yeah, that's a theme up until Ragnarok. The first half of the movie, trash, slow, so much pointless stuff. And then it's good. I feel like in Ragnarok, I didn't have to wait for it to be good. It was good from scene one. I was hooked.
So I think the movie for Dark World, I don't think it starts getting lit until Frigga's death.
Yup, yup.
Um, also, Frigga can fight.
Frigga is a boss ass bitch. Oh my god.
I didn't know she could fight, and it made that scene so much better because remember in Endgame when they go back to that moment in time
Mm-hmm.
and Thor sees his mom before she dies.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, like I'm so glad I watched Endgame and I'm so glad I'm watching Dark World right now so I can make the connection.
I had forgotten about that, but now that you bring that up, that oof, that hurts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Frigga's death for a second, because I thought those were two of the best scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, I
That fight scene, and that's how you could tell where, like, they talk all the time about how Loki gets the tricks from Frigga, and multiple times in the movie they talk about how Loki gets his like mischief and like tricks and whatever from Frigga, and they like never really show anything about that up until that scene where she uses the Jane decoy.
and he calls her a witch.
Yup.
Love that.
Yup.
I love that.
This
that
also
was one of the shining points, that Frigga and freaking Loki were close.
Oh my god, the relationship between them in this movie. Oof.
I wish we had seen more.
I agree. That was something I wanted more of, because when she died and we saw his reaction to that, it hurt. But if they had put in even like one more scene between the two of them, or like lengthened that scene, I do think that scene between them should be the last scene between them, but like they should have put something in between there, because that could have really driven that moment home emotionally.
I also thought that, like, I liked Frigga a lot, and it sucks that she died so soon.
Mm-hmm.
But like her death scene, like the aftermath of her death was like a little over the top for me, for someone we didn't know that well.
Oh, I disagree.
I just was like, I don't know. I feel like she only had a few lines, and then she dies in a really cool, not in a really cool way, in a very good scene. But then I don't know. It was just a little too. I wish we got more of her, so that scene would have had more meaning to me.
I agree, but also at the same time, I feel like they used her specific death as like not an allegory or a metaphor, maybe like a symbol for all the death that had happened that day in Asgard. Because after they set her boat out, which by the way, that was my favorite scene in the entire movie, that funeral with the boats. I thought that was one of the most beautiful shots of the entire movie. The colors were lit. And just like the fact that no one was speaking was so poignant. It was just such a beautiful scene to watch. My one complaint is that the music is like they stole it from the beginning scene of Gladiator. Where, you know what, it's not during the funeral. It's right after she dies, when like Odin walks in and Thor's like, oh my god. It's like a bunch of women just going like, oh, and then just like really dramatic like instrumental over that. It's so extra.
I honestly, yeah, I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, is I totally agree with you that it was over the top for that character.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the funeral Odin should have gotten, and Frigga should have been the one to like disintegrate into light, which she did.
She did.
The things I wanted to point out is that Odin's death kind of mirrored that, which I enjoyed.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like that, watching Dark World and Ragnarok back to back, it was like such a nice surprise.
No, that's what I'm saying, is when you watch them back to back to back, the stories all of a sudden make sense.
So after Frigga's death, the movie gets fucking lit. Okay? I loved everything that took place. I liked that, well, before that takes place, here are things I liked to see. I liked that we saw the red Infinity Stone.
Which one is that one?
The ether is like the red stone.
No, I know that, but which Infinity Stone is it? Is it because you know how there's like the soul one?
I want to say it's the soul one, because the body.
Oh, the soul one is the one you have to get from killing someone, because that's the one where Gamora dies.
Let's look this up.
Okay. You're gonna have to do it because I am currently occupied.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
The Reality Stone.
What?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Because at least, like, Doctor Strange has the Time Stone, and that's how he does all his crazy shit. That makes sense.
Well, the
And then
reality
one, you gotta
stone,
kill someone. That makes sense.
but so the reality stone, I guess, is because you could make things dark. I don't know.
Oh my god, I thought you just read that, and I was about to be like, are you fucking serious?
No, but yeah, that we'll do research on that because I'm interested. But I liked that after seeing like Endgame and Infinity Wars, and
It
then
it
like
felt it felt less exciting.
I felt more excited to see like the Red Stone. I was like, oh, that's an Infinity Stone.
I thought you were gonna say like the movie itself compared to like Infinity Stone and Endgame. I
Oh,
agree. I think it's exciting to see the Infinity Stones before we know they're Infinity Stones, and also the fact that they call it an Infinity Stone in the post-credit scene.
yes, that was absolutely awesome. I was nerding out. I don't nerd out that often, but I was like, ooh, I was like jumping up and down.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like all these, like when you watch the Phase 1 and Phase 2 movies, like all those little Easter eggs start popping up, and you're like, oh my god, they've been setting this up since the beginning.
I thought it was really interesting that like it consumed Jane and she was a weapon. I thought that was like a smart choice if she was going to be in this movie again.
Great. If she was gonna be in this movie, it had to be a bigger part.
Yeah.
Her character felt completely unnecessary in the first movie, and in this movie, I felt like she had to be there or the plot couldn't have worked.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, Natalie can chill with us. A little thing, I really like how Jane and Darcy. I don't hate Darcy and Eric. I just wish they were in. I just thought I saw them too sporadically.
I agree. The consistency with the characters and like how important they are and how much they show up in the movie is not good in this movie.
Yeah, but I love when Darcy and Jane come across that like gravity thing and the kids discover it first.
Oh yeah.
That was cute. I like that.
Also, speaking of that, I know you said you like or no, you didn't like her date with Chris O'Dowd.
Mhm.
I thought it literally the only reason he's in that movie is to be a Deus Ex Machina like while they're in that cave. Like literally the only point of his character is to give her a phone call while she and Thor are stuck in that cave so she can figure out where they are.
But I thought that was really cool.
I agree, but I don't know. It felt like lazy writing to me, but also how else are you going to do that?
I kind of wish that Darcy called instead.
That's yeah.
Made more sense because I really like that. I like the act that they could get cell phone reception wherever they were, so they must have been close to a gravity point. I thought that was like interesting. Yeah, so you already mentioned this, but like that scene. So when I liked when Thor comes to get Loki and he like puts up a front and then he materializes his front and his room is in like a disarray because he's sad about his mom.
Yep.
That really, what you said, that broke my heart. It was sad. But I really liked how they escaped Asgard, and I wrote, Odin, you idiot. Like, Thor obviously has the right idea of mind to get the fight away from Asgard because he wants to save the people.
Word.
So I like that. Again, we see Odin's faults. And I love that we get a cameo of Chris Evans.
Oh my god, I literally must have skipped over that part because I knew that happened in this movie and I must have stepped out of the room when it happened because I was looking for it and I don't remember watching it.
He was just like,
no, I know exactly what it is.
And I was like, I got really excited, and he looks. I just love cameos. Like the Hawkeye cameo was great. Captain America cameo was great. And okay, can we talk about? I think this scene is actually amazing.
Which
So when they go to confront the Dark Elves to like get the ether out of Jane.
Oh, that whole sequence with the trick.
I totally forgot that happened.
I did too.
And I was like, Star Wars vibes. He mutilates Thor, and then he materializes it with his mind trick. It was so good, and I was tricked twice. I've seen this movie like twice, and I was tricked again because I forgot.
That's true. I've also only seen this movie twice.
But it was a good trick.
No, I agree. That was my second favorite part of the movie. That was definitely my favorite, like, full out scene, because they did that so beautifully, and you believe Loki's turn.
But then he's alive because that's Loki. But LOL. But it makes his death. That whole scene again. Love that I watched this movie and Ragnarok back to back. It made that scene, the play in the Ragnarok, so much better.
Oh my god, no, that's what I'm saying. Is I felt like when I walked into Ragnarok, having just seen Dark World, I like remembered everything, so I was like, this is fucking hilarious. And the fact that they got Mark Wahlberg to be in it.
And Matt Damon, right?
That might be Matt Damon. I think it's Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Yeah, just that was amazing. But yeah, Thor going, no!
His oh shit while he passes the wine when he sees Thor. Oh. Should we just talk about Ragnarok now? Do you have anything else to say about Dark World?
The ending was annoying for me because the Dark Elf gets crushed. It's kind of like unclear how. Okay, so the main Dark Elf dies because he gets crushed by his ship because of a gravity hole.
But also, Aether can't be destroyed, and they already established pretty early on in that scene that if Thor cuts something off, it can grow back.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how a ship falling on him is gonna hurt him when Thor literally electrocuting him did nothing.
Yeah. So that was weird.
Lazy.
And I wanted to know did they explain how they got the ether back?
Nope, they didn't explain how they put it in the box.
Okay.
Didn't explain how they got it back from the guy.
Yeah, nothing. So that's a problem for me. But besides that, like, the best parts of the movie is when Thor and Loki's mother die and the trick with Loki, and then it just kind of stops.
Yeah. One thing I do have to give this movie a lot of credit for is there was a lot of character development, especially with Loki in this movie specifically, that like set up a lot for his character in the coming movies. And I feel like I forget this happening because I never watched this movie because I don't like it. But it's so solid. There was one moment when they were fighting in the jail, Thor literally grabs this guy like by the head and makes him spin so he snaps his neck and then just moves on.
That was so scary.
That I felt like was out of character. Like the guy hadn't even started to attack him yet and he just snapped his neck.
I just have had, I've been having neck problems, so every neck crack in this movie I was like, ouch. Let's move on to the third Ragnarok, but first I want to say
the best one.
Thor 1, I thought Thor got the best character development.
Yes, he fucking did.
The second Thor, no character development.
None.
Still a chill guy. Ragnarok, no character development, still a chill guy.
I feel like I disagree with that.
I just saw this video essay that was like, Thor is I watched a video essay. I'll probably link it with this podcast because it was great. It explained why they thought the first Thor was good, and I agreed with everything. And one of the guy's main points was the first Thor character development. Second Thor, And third, no character development. Not in the terms of he's more comfortable with himself and the way he interacts with people and he's funnier. It's just that, like, he, in the second Thor, it's cool that he wants to bring the fight away from Asgard to protect his people. And, like, the third Thor, he wants to bring the fight to Asgard and care about the people getting out so he can protect them. Like, he has the same moral ideas, if that makes sense.
He doesn't have those moral ideas, though.
I don't know. I thought Captain America and Iron Man and Captain America is the best. Which one was that? The third one?
Oh, Civil War?
Yeah, didn't they have like
Civil
weird
War
conflict?
being a good movie?
Sorry?
Is Civil War your favorite Marvel movie?
No, I didn't say that.
I thought that's what you just said, and I was like,
no, I said that like they had like kind of Iron Man and Captain America had like different moral conflicts.
I feel like I agree that, like, as far as his motivation goes, they have not changed that throughout the three movies. It's always Asgard. It's always saving the people from Asgard. I definitely hit that point. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like there's development of him as a character in Ragnarok. And here's the main thing that I really enjoy is that the entire part of this movie, they destroy his hammer. Like,
yes,
how far
that's
into the
part
movie
of him.
They destroy it within the first 20 minutes of the movie. And they spend the entire rest of the movie reinforcing the fact, they literally even say it at one point, that Thor is not the god of hammers, he is the god of lightning. And I love that they took his hammer away from him, and I think they never should have given him that axe. That annoys the shit out of me that did that.
I love that axe. Groot sacrificed his arm for that axe.
Listen, I think it's dope axe. I think the story behind it is dope, but I feel like you just spent a movie pointing out that this guy is a literal god and does not need his hammer or any weapon because he is the fucking weapon. And then literally one movie later, they're like, oh yeah, that lesson you learned in the last movie? Fuck that. Here's a weapon.
Okay, I can see that. But how he got the weapon was so cool.
That was dope. I loved that. But
that whole team, oh my god.
Let's start with Peter Dinklage when he's like a giant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was living for everything in that. But okay, let's talk about Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, can I ask, do you know which phase of Marvel we're in? Is this a phase 4 or is this phase 3?
Ragnarok?
Yeah. I'm gonna Google it.
I want to say phase 3 because it came out in 2017.
Oh, it does not say. Oh, it says phase 3.
Okay.
Are we in phase 4 now?
We better be.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes.
We better be in phase 4. These movies have been out for so long.
Yeah. Yup.
I don't have. So, when I first watched Thor Ragnarok, the only complaint. Okay, Katie, I feel like we are pretty funny ladies.
Yep.
I feel like we understand what a good joke is and what a bad joke is.
I would agree with that.
Some of the jokes did not always land with me.
Oh, I agree with that.
In this movie. Sorry?
I agree. There's some flat jokes in this movie.
And I was nervous in the beginning because I thought that, like, the beginning starts with Thor, he's in chains and he's hanging and he's twirling around. And, I thought that was funny for, like, the first few beats, but then it just kind of dragged for me. But then it just picks up with Led Zeppelin.
Listen, I think that intro scene with him talking to the skeleton was stupid. I think they should have started the movie with him hanging from the ceiling talking to Surtur. As soon as they brought in fucking Immigrant Song, I was in. I was in that movie, and I am glad they used it twice because it was the perfect song for that scene, and it's the perfect song for the last scene.
It is so much fun, and I haven't been that satisfied in the first two Thor movies about how the camera handled Thor and his hammer.
Yup.
And
can we just take a second to appreciate how the camera work in this movie is so much more superior than in the other two movies?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
CGI isn't trash in this one.
Yeah, I wrote like CGI is way better in this movie, and the way they handle Thor's hammer in this opening scene is great. Like, I didn't really have much fun watching any of the action scenes until Ragnarok. I love that. That was great. Wait, Katie, you know who this is? I said new Idris Elba is in Supernatural and Star Wars 2009.
Are you asking me if I know who Idris Elba is?
No. So there's a new guy guarding the Bifrost.
Yeah.
Who is that actor?
Are you asking me if I know who that is?
Yeah, who is that actor?
Okay, which one would you prefer, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? Or not Star Wars, Star Trek or Lord of the Rings?
Star Trek?
He's the Doctor in Star Trek.
Isn't he in Supernatural too?
I don't know about that, but he's also I can't remember his name, but he's also in Lord of the Rings. He's one of the riders of Rohan.
Okay, yeah. I was like, he is in Star Trek. That's Star Trek guy.
Oh yeah, one hundo. He's in a lot of stuff. He's one of those, like, you see him around all the time, but you never remember him. Oh, one more thing about Dark World. They had Christopher Eccleston as their lead villain, and they really, really did that to his voice.
I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention to the villains, really. I was so disinterested.
Was the first Doctor that I saw in Doctor Who. He's the 9th Doctor.
Oh my God, that was him?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Right?
He's a good actor.
I know. Not David Tennant. Not the one from Harry Potter. The one before.
Yeah. Got that. I know who that is. Also,
he's such a talented actor, and like, he had so little to work with, but he worked so well with it.
Yeah. Aw.
All right.
But yeah, so let's move on. Okay, so like the whole bit with the new Idris Elba, I didn't think it was that funny. I don't know. Like the jokes.
I hated that. I full on hated that. I think my issue with some of the jokes is that some of them felt a little forced. And I think that's a good example of that. Especially that part where he's using the shake weight. I guess this is funny, but also this feels a little weird.
Yeah, like I was like, this isn't, it wasn't for me. But then, Katie.
Yeah.
Then we get the play. And all my hopes and dreams have come alive again.
Okay. We are both only children, but I thought this movie handled the sibling relationship better between him and Loki than any of the other movies the two of them have been in, including Avengers.
I don't know. I agree. I just like the build. I agree.
The scene, like when he throws that hammer and holds Loki's head, I was like, beautiful, brilliant. Keep up. Let's keep these jokes coming. Loved.
My favorite part is when Thor shows up. He goes, "Father," and Loki goes as Odin. Oh shit.
No, that's what I was saying. Oh my God. One of my favorite jokes in the whole movie is when they go to New York to see Odin at the nursing home, and Doctor Strange just opens that portal and Loki disappears, and there's a business card and Thor like pokes it and he's like, "Loki?"
Oh my God. I didn't even notice that. Wait, I still have stuff to say about the play.
Let's do it. This is my favorite movie. I got so many things to say.
So I feel like the play. So, two things. The movie as a whole, Ragnarok, it combines the best part about the first two Thor movies and puts it all there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then, I love that the play makes fun of the original film like Loki makes fun of himself for being a little blue baby icicle.
I completely agree.
And I, like, not only was that funny, like, as a joke, but I love that Loki was like, LOL, I was a little blue baby icicle. I don't know. I feel like he definitely wrote the play, and it just...
Oh, for sure he did. He's literally mouthing the words along with the play.
And it's just so funny to think Loki is just like, okay, like, here's my play.
Oh my god, when he's dying and he goes, build me a statue, a big one, with my helmet, with the curly horns. Ugh.
That was good. It was great.
That's like the height of this movie, comedy-wise, like I definitely agree with you. Some of the jokes for sure fall flat, but this is one of the funniest Marvel movies.
Yes. I agree.
If not the funniest Marvel movie, to be honest.
I think the funniest goes to Guardians.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about Guardians.
And then this.
This is a close second.
Close second. But yes, I love when they go to New York and Thor says Loki is dressed as a witch. That was like so good. Their banter.
But I also thought that was a good callback to the scene when Frigga died, because they always are comparing Frigga and Loki.
Oh, yeah. Oh no. Ah! I love that. Okay. That's cute. I wrote down City Boys with a Z.
Because they are. I like that Thor chooses to look like someone who lives in a VW van when he goes to Earth, where Loki walks in with like a 3-piece jet black suit.
I wrote down I would have loved to see Loki like getting dressed that morning. Like,
oh my god, I would have loved if he did a get ready with me that morning. I watched this. Can you imagine Loki's YouTube channel? Get ready with me.
Hey guys, I'm Loki, and this is Get Ready with Me.
My favorite hair gel today. You can't get it anywhere but Asgard. Currently, it's out of stock.
So even though Doctor Strange isn't my favorite, I like that he was in this movie.
Okay, one of the notes I wrote down was literally, this is the only movie I like Doctor Strange in.
Katie, we're one and the same.
I think, first of all, that this was the first time his powers were used in a way that was A, believable, and B, like, funny. Like, I liked that they changed seats every single time he said something. And I liked that when he tried to offer him tea and Thor said, not tea, he immediately gave him a beer.
Oh, like, and then it refills himself.
Yeah. Like,
I was like, why can't I have that glass? I really loved Odin's death scene.
Oh, I thought that was a very beautiful scene.
Just like they're overlooking the sea, and then like Loki's dark ass suit, and then Thor's hair, and then Odin in the middle. It was just like a good, wholesome. It's sad, but like really good. But he also spills some major tea.
Oh my god! Literally, I wrote down the balls of him spilling that family tea on his deathbed and then just fucking dying. Can you believe?
That was some good tea. That was a good plot point. I love that he had a first daughter who was really into war. He was into war too, but then he was like, I need to take a step back, buried her. Like, I felt bad for her, but she's crazy.
I love her. And I love that it's
Claire Danes. That wasn't Claire Danes.
No, it was Cate Blanchett. And every gay woman knows that when Cate Blanchett is in the movies, the lesbians will go. I can say that because I am queer.
I wrote in my notes, Loki's greasy ass hair.
Yeah, they gotta do something about that boy.
So, yeah, the Odin death resembles Frigga's death, which you previously said. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, I gotta go to my wife. I'm like, yeah, you go.
And
And
I
then,
like that they mentioned that at the top of that scene. Like, one of the first things he says is, I can feel Frigga calling me.
yeah. Again, so glad I watched Dark World, because if I didn't,
I would not have remembered that.
I think I felt a disconnect watching Thor Ragnarok the first time in theaters, because I didn't see Dark World. And because of that and the jokes, I just walked out a little more bummed out. But watching it again, I think this movie is really great.
I loved this movie the first time I saw it. And to give context, I didn't watch this movie until a year after it came out, because I told Shaylee that I would watch it with her the first time I watched it, and I waited. She didn't, but I did.
Uh, Chaley is one of our other friends.
We have a lot of friends because we're cool people.
So what is the planet they land on? So, like,
oh my God, I literally just watched this. Scar?
can we just call it Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, we'll call it Jeff Goldblum. Is it Goldblum or Goldblum?
Let's call it Jeff Goldblum's Hunger Games experience.
Okay, Jeff Goldblum's Hunger Game experience.
Because that is what I was getting from.
I mean, it's not far off. It's a gladiator battle.
I like that when Thor falls out of the sky, the place like doesn't look very intimidating, but then he's immediately captured by Valkyrie, which is cool.
There's another gay icon right there. How are they gonna get away with putting Cate Blanchett and Tessa Thompson into one movie and making them both into the most badass, sexy women that have ever existed? I literally cannot handle this movie. There's too many hot people in it.
I really loved Valkyrie's story. I thought it was very...
I loved that she acknowledged, she made a point to say that scene where they depict what happened to the other Valkyries and she's like reaching out for that other woman, she was like, yeah, I was playing that as if that was my wife, or like we were in love or whatever.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
No, because like a lot of people, like during the press tour, people were saying that like they were like, oh, people have been noticing that like in that scene you reach out for that woman and it kind of looks like you're in love, and she was like, oh yeah, because that's how I was playing it.
Cool. I mean, it's
because she's, I think, still dating Janelle Monáe.
Oh, cool.
Now non-binary. So
that's awesome.
They're awesome. I love them.
I just thought that it was such a good scene, that her telling her story, I was looking forward to that because I didn't remember it the first time I watched it.
I also didn't remember it and did not get that far into the movie.
It just looked, it was shot like it was sad, but shot very beautiful. Like they were all on.
You know, in Wonder Woman, when they're telling the story.
Can I just say my point?
Sorry.
Okay. They're all on like these Pegasuses. Is it Pegasi? Yeah, they're all on the horses, and it's just they're beautiful women, and they're going after Hela, and it's just like it's very like Greek tragedy type scene. And it's sad, and I was taken out of the movie for a bit because it slowed down a bit for me there, because it felt like jokes, and then that moment I was like, wow, this really has affected her in a very major way, and she's one of the last ones left. And like Thor, I loved when Thor's like, I wanted to be one, but it was all women, so I couldn't.
It was so cute. I love that line.
I love women, but not like that. I just admire them. So good. She's awesome. But what were you gonna say about Wonder Woman?
I was gonna say that, you know that scene in Wonder Woman when her mom Hippolyta is telling Diana the story of like Ares, and it looks like an animated oil painting. The thing with the Valkyries looks like an animated oil painting.
Yes. Okay,
It
yeah.
looks like if someone turned a Renaissance painting into like a really, really slowed down GIF. And
Yeah.
I love it.
It was beautiful.
I think that is one of the most gorgeous shots of the whole movie.
Yes. So can we talk about Jeff Goldblum?
Yep. Grandmaster
I
of my heart.
still don't know.
About
I laughed at some of what I get what he was doing. My favorite parts with Jeff Goldblum is when he becomes a giant and he's like, the enemies are he's like, the Hulk has escaped. I don't know. I thought that was funny. And when the ship turns into, it's my birthday.
Oh my god.
You know what? I like Jeff Goldblum in this. He was funny. He was charismatic. I thought it was a little random at first, but then I was like, okay, he can have his moment.
I thought the casting was a little random, but then I was like, I feel like the Marvel movies are big enough that Jeff Goldblum could be a reasonable guest star on them.
I liked his little his like sidekick friend.
Yeah.
Friend. But yeah, there weren't parts like I wrote stars next to my favorite parts, and I don't really have many stars next to him. But I really loved the Hunger Games vibes he was giving us.
For sure.
And like the gladiator training vibes. Oh, Stanley's cameo cutting Thor's hair was so cute.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, no more Stanley cameo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
a legend.
I love that Hulk was in this movie.
I do too. Oh my god. I think that relationship was so much fun to explore.
Yes, and I'm kind of mad at myself. One of my New Year's resolutions is to not watch any movie trailers because I remember the Thor Ragnarok trailer had the Hulk in it. And if I didn't watch the trailer, this would have been like the best surprise ever.
I agree they should not have shown that in the credit or the trailer.
And it because it's such a nice surprise. It's like
it should have been a good feel.
Yay! And I recently watched Age of Ultron, and I know that he like crash landed somewhere.
Gee, I haven't seen Age of Ultron in a really long time, and I watched it a couple months ago, and knowing that helped me because I remember the first time I saw Ragnarok, I was like, what the fuck is the Hulk doing here? And then they like make a mention of him like flying off, and I was like, oh, all right, that must have happened a million movies ago.
Yeah, I really loved, I don't know, it was very funny how after they fight, they're like bunking together and Hulk is talking and he's being like so hulky and cute, but I don't know, he's like, Bruce, no more. And then like the Hulk and Valkyrie together are so cute.
Yep.
And I loved it when he turned back into Bruce. They kept being like, I think I know you from somewhere. Remember? It was great.
No. Do you want to know the story behind that line? I know him, he's a friend from work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. A Make-A-Wish kid was on set and said, I think it would be funny if Thor says that, and then that made it into the movie.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that adorable?
That's brilliant.
A child came up with that line.
That is brilliant. He's a friend from work.
I think that was hilarious. That was one of the funniest lines in the whole movie, and a child came up with that. Another fun fact that is actually kind of cool. So you know the director Taika Waititi? I have no idea if I'm saying his name right. I'm sorry because I'm probably not. Mm-hmm. But he is from New Zealand, and the ship that they fly off planet is the same color as the New Zealand flag.
Oh.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Yep. And he's in it. He's the rock person.
He's Korg, right?
Yeah. I also feel like when I was watching Dark World, or maybe even the first Thor, there's a monster he fights that looks almost exactly the same as Korg.
Is it like with the Dark World when the elf gives that guy that rock thing and then they embed the rock in him and then he becomes...
I did think that was cool. I thought that character choice and that character design was one of the very few strong choices they made.
Mm.
They never mention his name though. I had to look it up. It's Curse, but spelled with a K.
Amazing. I really enjoyed it. It broke my heart that the Hulk broke down when he saw Natasha.
I don't care for their relationship, but it
Oh,
wasn't.
I do.
I personally
And
should have been with Hawkeye, but whatever.
and I like that the ship was destroyed. Like, I like that was an obstacle that they had to get past. Because then we wouldn't get the cool Thor Loki with the blaster scene.
Yep. Get help.
Yeah. Get help. That was good. And Korg being like, hey guys, we have a revolution. Yeah. So yeah. Which was really great. So, and I love I don't know, I feel like it's a good movie. I feel like we're a little bit winding down. I felt myself every time they were switching to Hela scenes, I was like bored.
I agree. And I think it's because I really didn't care for Scourge. That guy that you were saying. The one from who took over for Heimdall.
Yes.
Oh my god. Whoever
he made a great sacrifice.
Yeah. Whoever made the call for Idris Elba to wear those gold contacts read my diary. He looks so good with those gold icon. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, yes. And the dreads, his look is complete. Yeah. And I love that. So also they mention like, oh, he's gone because he committed treason and ran off. And I love that plot point of him like gathering the people of Asgard because he knows that Ragnarok is coming.
When he's in Dark World, when he releases Thor to go to wherever, he says, I have summoned, he calls Odin to the Bifrost and he's like, I'm gonna alert you about treason happening in your kingdom. And Odin's like, whose treason? And he's like, mine. And then he starts fighting them.
Yeah. So, so he committed treason to Dark World, and then that was where he ended up. Which is, again, I'm so happy that I watched Dark World before this. I would have been so confused.
I want to go back and do this with other characters. I definitely said that earlier, but I still think that.
No, yeah. So the like final fight, I like when Thor realizes that we have to cause Ragnarok to save the people. I love that. Twist in a way. Like, Hela's scary, but Ragnarok is supposed to destroy, and he was almost destroying it in like a comical way. Like, he wasn't even going after the people, he was just destroying Asgard, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
which was a really awesome plot point.
And I like that that's the villain they've started the movie with, because then it's a callback that makes sense. Because throughout the movie, the first time I watched it, I was like, it seems like they gave themselves a really great villain and then just abandoned him. And then when he showed up at the end, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. It was great. And like, I thought Hela was gonna beat him when she threw her daggers at him, but then she's like, oh, I'm gonna die. And
I'm gonna die. Yep.
But so funny when Valkyrie and Hulk are like, Valkyrie and Bruce are like on the ship, and Bruce goes, you want to see who I really am? You want to see? And he jumps out, and it's just like, ding! Because he hasn't turned yet into a wolf. I mean, not a wolf.
Into a wolf.
Into a wolf yet.
Wolf.
I thought that was great. I was excited for Valkyrie to see that, like, Bruce was the Hulk the whole time. I think that relationship's great.
Mm.
And yeah, don't shoot the dog. I like the fight. I liked the fight that Thor, the con. Okay, just the imagery of the Hulk and the dog fighting, and then they go into the water in Asgard. I thought that was just like a cool juxtaposition of like characters and shots and imagery. I was really into it.
I agree.
So, yeah, I think the last battle, I think it was very controlled and very fun. I really like who's the character? I keep forgetting his name. The one who was in Star Trek.
Scourge.
I liked how Scourge sacrificed himself for the ship to get away. I just felt like there were a lot of elements of the battle, but they were very controlled, and I think that is what a lot of superhero movies are lacking. And Star Wars, I want fight scenes to have control, and even if they're happening every which way, I want to be able to follow the story and not be like, oh, where's this character? Oh, where's this character? Like, I know where everyone is, and I thought that was strong.
I agree. And I think it also gave them a good opportunity to like highlight everyone's individual fighting styles. Like there's one point where Loki stabs someone with like the horn on his helmet, and I was like, that's Loki.
Oh, Loki.
When Thor comes down with the lightning, though, like.
Oh, hell yeah. And I love we get the Odin flash 3 times. It's like, Odin, Odin, Odin. And then it's just like, bazinga.
I did also like the foreshadowing with that in the scene with the death, because as soon as Odin dies and Thor starts getting emotional, there's thunder.
Yeah.
And already they've established in the other 2 movies that he can conjure lightning, but he's never done it without Mew Mew. Not even going to try to pronounce that correctly. And then when they establish that he can do it himself, they start that in the arena when he's fighting Hulk, and I love that scene.
Yeah, it's
a good time. It's just, oh my god, when Loki's like, I have to get off this planet.
Where did Loki go at the end of this?
I don't remember.
He joins them because he dies.
He must, right? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna cheat.
He dies in the beginning. Spoilers for everything. He dies in the beginning of Infinity Wars.
Yeah, I think so.
And so does Idris.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So he was on the ship too.
Yeah.
Aw.
Okay.
That's sad that it takes place right after Ragnarok. Like, that's so sad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So at the end, Loki and Thor reconcile, and Thor is king, and they're on the ship. In the mid-credits scene, they are intercepted by a large spacecraft, which is Thanos. And then in a post-credits scene, that's not relevant. Though I do want to point out that the place where they do eventually set up camp on Earth is the same place where Odin died.
Oh my god. Oh, yep. Cool.
And they established that in that movie when Odin says, "This is home."
Oh. That was...
So that is the thing that the director, someone important, has confirmed. But yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it just tied all 3 Thor movies together into one very solid bow of happiness and sadness.
I agree.
And I loved watching all 3 movies, and I think we should do another one of these because it felt like I was watching an HBO type situation, like a really good HBO show.
It was a very different Marvel experience that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
We should do like Captain America or Iron Man, and we should include like Avengers and...
Oh my god. I love Avengers.
Captain America or Iron Man. We're gonna have to watch like every single movie, but also who else is there? There's like 2 Ant-Man movies, and I'm not gonna watch Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I love the first Ant-Man.
Oh, I enjoyed the first Ant-Man. I thought it was great.
It
Fucking love Paul Rudd, but
Paul
I
Rudd is such a little cutie patootie croissant.
agree with everything you've just said.
I'm sorry I was a bit sorry if I was sassy during this podcast.
No, you're fine. I was pretty salty during this podcast.
um so yeah, Katie, you were right. Thor Ragnarok was the best.
It is the best. 5 out of 5 hammers.
But 5 out of 5 umbrellas.
5 out of 5 umbrellas.
Oh
my god, sorry. Speaking of that, when he's in the sanctum and he like holds his hand out for his umbrella and you can just hear shit breaking.
I
like
would have
right before he catches it when he goes, "Sorry, I died."
I would have been so mad.
Oh, I'm furious.
I put myself, like, it was funny, but I put myself in Doctor Strange's position, and I was like, if someone was doing that in my freaking, like, place where I have all these things and the artifacts, I'm like, and dude, no. I thought that was kind of rude of Thor.
I agree, but I also felt like that was in character for him because that was a fun little callback to what kind of an asshole he was in the first movie before he changed.
Yes.
It's like, he's changed, but not all the way.
Oh, and oh my god, I usually hate when the kids are like, oh my god, can I take a selfie with you?
I thought that was so cute and a little bit funny.
And I loved that, like, we get the after image of it, and it looks like a cute picture.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was, but overall, such a fun 3-film watch. Like, I don't regret 1 minute of this.
100%. 10 out of 10 hammers would recommend this to, like, anyone. I think this is a really fun way to consume a Marvel movie, or 3.
Yeah. All right, Katie.
I would do this again, but again, I would watch Avengers. I think 2 people that want to do this watch Avengers in between Thor and Dark World.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Do it. Like, if the best thing they could do, watch Thor, Avengers, Dark World, Age of Ultron, Ragnarok. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta through Age of Ultron.
Because Thor, like, freaks out in Age of Ultron and is like, I had a vision of the Infinity Stones, I have to go!
I have watched Ultron 1 time.
I watched Age of Ultron working out once. I was never that pumped up, and I have never been that pumped up in my life. Like, all the action scenes, I was like, okay, I'm doing it.
Oh, God.
Let's fight. Okay, all right. It's 8:11. We've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Solid. So this is definitely a 2-part episode.
It might not be. I might just edit it.
That's fair.
People like long podcasts, I feel.
How long was our last podcast?
53 minutes.
Shit.
I edited it down.
Oh my god, I want to listen to it now. I want to know if you edit it out.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.